Hi, welcome back to the Air Weapon channel. So this video I'm doing for all those people that's been asking me a lot of questions about the adder on what I've done to it, how I've done it, how I'm getting on with it, how I've got the attachments that I've got on there, what rails and attachments and stuff I've used. And I've also had one or two people ask me if I could do a video on the 7-bolt magazine too. So basically this is going to be a bit of a long video, because I'm going to try and get everything in one video, save me doing 2 or 3 of pretty much the same thing. So yeah, so for those of you that are interested, this video is going to be a full breakdown on what I've learned about the adder, what mistakes, what I've done, what I haven't done, what's on there, what I've strengthened, what I haven't. And yeah, so hopefully this information will help you out. Also, I'll go through the bolts as well, because I've tried multiple different arrowheads and stuff like that. I've shortened the bolts, I've made them heavier, I've tried cheap ones to deal ones. So yeah, I got about 5 different bolts here as well. So I'll discuss that as well. So first of all, this is what I've done to the adder so far. To be fair, I haven't really done that much to it, even though it looks like I have. All I've really done is put the Venom Extreme 190 limb with a new string to go on that. Exactly the same string as the 130, just a new one. And the 7-bolt magazine. Everything else is just attachments. The only other modification I made was, anyone who has one of these knows that the stock is wobbly. So I took the stock off. The black bit then on the stock that goes inside, 2 tight wraps of black electrical tape. Cut out the pinholes on that then, not on the plastic in the gun, on the metal bit on the stock. Put it back in, push the pin through, and no wobbles. I'd done that months and months ago, and I use this all the time. No wobbles. Plus you could take it on and off whenever you want again. But I've had a few people ask me, have I strengthened the lever here, the cock and arm? No, haven't had to strengthen it at all. It's held out lovely, no bends, no wobbles. It works exactly the same as the 130 limb. And a few people have asked, is it hard at the cock? To be honest, it is slightly hard at the cock, but it's not that much hard at the cock. If you can cock the 130 bow, then you can still cock this one. You will have to put a little bit more effort in when it gets close to the end, but yeah, it's not bad at all. And surprisingly, I haven't had to strengthen nothing. Nothing's wobbling. Everything is solid. See, listen. Oh, yeah, lovely, man. So basically, the foregrip that was on here, that comes with the adder originally, I took off and I turned around and made this bayonet out of it. This is an old knife blade I had lying around, and this is the foregrip handle that come with the adder, so it didn't go to waste. So because this bit here that the foregrip goes on is quite flimsy, so they do make a spacer block and sell it on eBay to go in there, but I personally think it's a bit expensive, around like 20 or 30 quid. So I'll make my own block to go in there. But the bipod, that is a 1-inch bipod, easy fold. That was around about 20 quid, Amazon or eBay. But because the rail here is only 3 inches, you 1 inch for the bipod here, then the arrow holder, not the arrow height, then the arrow holder is about 1.25 inches, so that fits on the other part of the rail, and then the whole weight of the crossbow isn't balancing on this Picatinny rail that's overhanging. The actual legs itself sits on the joint, so there's no forced weight on that Picatinny rail, so I get no bend on it whatsoever, but I will put a spacer in there eventually. This is the arrow holder, clips straight onto any Picatinny rail, and it holds 6 arrows for the adder, and then it holds 6 arrows on the opposite side, but they're for the smaller pistol crossbows. As you can see, smaller holes. So on this arrow holder, I got 3 of the EK Archery boreheads, and then 3 15-inch arrows. And it holds them absolutely fine. You can put them anywhere you want, but with the bayonet on there, when you cock it, it'll knock the arrows off. So with the 3 small ones, I can still cock it with the knife lovely and have the 3 big ones on the outer side, so it misses the knife when cocking. Then there's the laser, the torch, and then normally I'll put my second maint coming off here, because that's a Picatinny rail there, and that's where my camera will attach to. This side then is the knife, and this is the original red dot sight to come with the adder. but I prefer my scope because this thing you can zoom into it like 10, 15 feet away and it looks clearer than the red dot and it never loses zero. So I love the scope. Because people probably say, oh, why's he got a sniper scope on there shooting at close range? Because looking through this, if you tune it in properly at close range, is clearer than looking through a red dot sight and more accurate. So yeah, so I'll talk through the bits and bobs now, where I got them from and all the rest of the stuff. And I'll show you how to load up the 15-inch arrows and shoot them singly and put in 8 in with one of these big ones too. So this is the 5-bolt magazine. I've only really shot 30 shots, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less through this. And then I put the 7-bolt magazine straight on and I've used that ever since. I didn't really like this function. I mean, don't get me wrong, if this is all you got, this is amazing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But after going to the 7-bolt magazine and then trying to go back to this is just a nightmare. This is horrible. The fact that you have to use one finger or one hand to hold that up whilst dropping the arrows in. Plus, if you're using bore heads with razor blades and stuff on, you've got to be extra careful you don't cut your string as you're loading them. So the only other function is your rail. So this is the 7-bolt magazine. This is the box it comes in. So this is the 7-bolt magazine. You don't get no scopes or nothing with it, just the magazine itself and the box. So you have your 2 styles of loading, your bigger slot here so you can put bigger ends and bore heads on your arrows. On the front here, you can unscrew this, take this out and drop a laser straight in, which you can purchase at Go Guns or a few other places, Go Guns UK. This itself then, the loading function is the best option, see? Straight up like that. You don't need 2 hands. You just drop them in, and I prefer to load backwards. So this function is much easier. Straight in, drop them down, off you go. Or if you want to load in front ways, you can. But if you've got a sniper scope on, whereas if you have a sniper scope on this one coming over here, normally it hangs by there. And with that function, then loading is quite difficult. So whereas with this one, even though you've got the overhang, doesn't really make a difference. You just drop them in, then you go. So yeah, I much prefer this one. And I don't think the spring is as hard either, so it does the job perfect, but it's not putting that extra pressure on the arrows. So yeah, this is the 7-bolt. Like I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the 5-bolt. There's not that much difference at all. But I do prefer the 7-bolt after using the 5, like I said, mainly just for how quick and simple it is to load the arrows into the magazine itself. Much, much faster. So yeah, if you're thinking about upgrading, you ain't going to go wrong with the 7-bolt. They do a metal version, but it's twice the price. So I've had some questions about the string, how to hold up and all that. So I put 12 twists in here. I know it only looks like 5 on each side, but it is actually 6 on each side. So there's 12 twists in there. I've been using this string since I put the Venom limb on, which was about 3-4 months ago, maybe a bit longer. And I'm only just starting to get a tiny little bit of wear by there. But I do wax my string every 30 shots or so. And I do really look after the bow. But I do extensively use it. So yeah, the string is holding up quite well. Not too bad at all. The EK Archery string that comes with the bows, or the replacements, are really good, even on the Venom 190. And even with this limb, I've had to do no strengthening. As you can see, everything is original. You can see straight through, no extra steel in there. Nothing is being altered or modified. The only modifications, like I said, is the limb. Put in a couple more twists in the string and that extra bit of tape on there to stop the wobble, and the magazine. Everything else is just add-ons. So yeah, not too bad. I recommend you wax your string quite a lot. So before I go and start talking about the different arrows and arrowheads and what I've done to modify them, and also all the attachments for this, I'll go through as well. But first of all, I'll just finish off the magazine and show you loading and shooting 3 15-inch bolts singly, and then I will put 1 15-inch bolt and 7 small ones in and shoot them so you can see that too. Right, so the water bottles as well. Now, I shoot a lot of water bottles, and basically I don't drink tap water. So I buy these 5 litre water bottles from Tesco's, and instead of chucking them out in the recycling, as I go through 1 to 2 every day, I collect them up and then I take them up the field and shoot them. But in shooting water bottles, from my experience over the last 6, 7 months shooting bottles, after, well, it can happen on the first one, but mainly after, depending on what angle you shoot the first one in, after 2 or 3 or 5, depending on the power of your weapon, the arrow will tend to glide off to the side. Or if it goes in and the flights stay perfect on entry, sometimes it can just go straight down or straight up. So if you are shooting in your back garden, make sure the bottles have got something going up and over them. So they're strong enough to stop the arrows, because even though they will go straight through them all, it's 50-50 whether the veins take them on a different, a different path, and they fly out the sides or fly up, and they could end up in the next street or your neighbour's garden or something like that. So yeah, just be careful shooting water bottles or anything soft and soggy. It is great fun, but it will change the flight path of the arrow 9 times out of 10. Which is why it's always best to have no air left in the bottle, have it filled up to the maximum, and try and whack it centre. Because if you go into the side, it is just going to go phew. So, but yeah, they're great fun. Next time, I'm going to fill them up with red stuff, so you might actually get to see the splatter better. But yeah, £1.50 Tesco's. They're great fun to shoot. They're 5 litres, and they're quite hard as well. First off, to load the 15-inch, you have to lift that up first, then cock the bolt. Then take the bolt and drop it down the front here, and then shut the magazine. Right, so that's loaded. I'm going to go for the top left circle, center circle. Oh, a little bit too high, only by a smidgen though. Right, so let's do that again. These are the long bolts, how they come. So same again, drop them in. Go for the top right circle. Nice. I think that was a bullseye. So that's how you load singly, the big bolts, but that's how you load them with the magazine as well. I'll show you that now. So £18 on eBay, 12 of these. They're good arrows, really good arrows. It's from Top Archery, 100% carbon crossbolt. So basically, do the same again. Drop in a long one. Drop in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's 7 little bolts, 1 big bolt, all in there. Right, I'm just going to try and get the centre of each circle. Whether I hit them is another thing. Right then, so how I got the torches and bayonets and stuff on, I was using one of two. So this is a twin side mount rail, so you can turn your one rail into two, having them both on an angle. And this one is exactly the same but closer together and higher, so you can clump them closer together. So I was using one on the one side, one on the other side, but then I decided I wanted a camera, so I needed a third mount. So what I chose to do was to use a laser with a 45-degree angle side mount. Don't know if you can see that mount properly. Then I attached one of these mounts to the laser, which then allowed me to attach my torch. I'm obviously using a laser here just to show you. So then straight away then you got your two pieces, but you also then have an extra rail on here for you to mount your camera onto. So that's how I ended up with all the three things in such a close space. That there then will be on the side of the gun, your torch, your laser sitting underneath each other with your camera mount coming off. It's quite simple really. So and then obviously would be your torch or your extra piece. That would be your joining piece. And then that's what I use for my camera. And then on the side with the knife, this is the knife. I made this myself. This is the foregrip that come with the actual adder itself. This is an old knife blade I had lying around. So this knife blade actually runs all the way down to here. So I filled it up inside them with hot glue. This is a 2-inch Picatinny rail, which I've cut out the inside perfectly to slot the blade in for no more movement. 2 bolts in there then. And then I have one nut and bolt running straight through too, just for extra support. So this thing is heavy and it is so strong, it is not going anywhere. And then I've used a very heavy duty rifle scope mount, which means then you can mount this to any weapon and doesn't matter which way your rail is, all you got to do is undo the screws, twist your blade to get it level and straight, and off you go. So I have this mount then sticking to the side of the Cobra adder. Then I have this then that just sits on there like so. And then obviously I have my second attachment, which is my red dot sight coming off that, which literally could be anything. I mean, you could mount your laser to it, you could do whatever you want. See, you could actually laser mount your bloody knife. Laser pointed bayonet. But yeah, you could do whatever you want with them. So these things are around 26 to 30 quid anywhere, but if you go on eBay and keep scrolling, you will find them for under a fiver. I normally pay anywhere between £3.50 and £5 for these ones. These ones, if you go on Amazon, they're around 17 to 28 quid. Anywhere else, you'll pay over 30 quid for one. On eBay, you'll get them for anywhere between £4 and £6. The average price I pay is around £4 something. So, and they're all solid steel, good quality, same as this one, solid steel. But take that extra weight into consideration though. These with the Picatinny rails on, these are 1 inch wide with 1 inch rails. I don't know where you get them from. I'm sure you'll get them on eBay. But my ones come with the lasers when I purchased them, and because I had so many lasers, I ended up with so many of these. The Picatinny rail GoPro camera mount is around 26 quid on eBay or Amazon. If you want it in metal, you can get cheaper ones in plastic, but this is a solid steel one, good quality, so it's worth paying the extra money on that. And the lasers I got for around 60 quid. They're pretty decent. They didn't come with the mounts, they come with a different mount. I had to purchase these separately, which was 2 for a tenner. 2 for 20 quid, sorry, solid steel on Amazon. So, right then, I think I've got through the mounts. I think I've got through the magazine. We've talked about the bipod. The bipod I got from Amazon, I think, around about 20 quid. And the arrow holder was also from Amazon. He's the only person on Amazon selling it. So if you put it in there and search it, it'll come up. It's around $10.99 and they're well worth it. It will break if you drop it or the crossbow on it. But if you look after your bow and don't knock it, it'll last you a while. So the arrows then, right. So when you purchase the 15-inch ones, these ones are one of my favorites. These are 18 quid from eBay. And they are made by Top Archery 100% carbon cross bolts. So you get 12 in a pack for 18 quid. They fly really straight. I've shot them into hard objects, soft objects, water bottles, TVs, and they're pretty strong. I've only broke 2 so far, so yeah, highly recommend. And they don't seem to lose their flights that easy either, their vanes. So a couple of months ago, I'd done a video on trying out cheaper bolts. I tried these orange ones off eBay. And not that good, man. The quality of the material is all right, but they're not put together well. There's no glue holding the arrowheads in. There's no glue holding the nocks in, and the vanes come off so easy if you shoot them into targets. Plus, you can't just buy them fresh from the box, put them in your bow and start shooting them because they jam up and break your magazine. Because the ends are all loose and wobbly. They don't match. There's sometimes the shaft is higher than the tip or vice versa. And the same on here, the nocks are all rough on the edges, bits of plastic sticking up. So when you're cocking it, it's not dropping it in properly. And if you don't notice and fire it, it's just going to lift up and go through your magazine. It happened to me 3 times. And now I've put a crack in the magazine. So I don't know how many more times that's going to happen. So if you buy these, be wary. Don't shoot them straight out the box. Check every one first. These green ones are the cheapest I found online, and they're the best. They match the EK Archery ones, like toe to toe. These are the green bolts. They weigh 13.4 grams, or maybe a little bit more, 13.6. The flights, the vanes, they stay on very well, even when shooting them through rough stuff. All the nocks are normally put in quite well and glued quite well, same as the ends, and they're just as strong as the blue or the red adder ones, and they fly super accurate too. Highly recommend them. And these are around $13.99 for a pack of 12 on Amazon. The cheapest ones I've managed to find that work in the adders so far. So I've modified some of the bolts myself, trying out different arrowheads, because you can only really use different arrowheads if you put in a 15 or an 18-inch arrow or a 16-inch arrow in there singly. But I tried these, but they're too wide. You can load them into the magazine. So I tried these bodkin tips from Go Guns UK, and they're pretty decent, but they rust quite quick and they blunt quite quick. They got like a metal plating on them that peels. So then I tried these dagger ones, which are actually longer than these spiral ones, but as you can see, they're much thinner. And these are actually slightly thinner than the other arrow itself. So by cutting 1.5 inches off the arrow shaft, gluing back in the bit to put the arrowhead in, screwing that in, as you can see there, I've made quite a few of these then with the arrow heads on, the bigger, longer ones. And this is the difference. So I've cut that much of the arrow off and then put a bigger arrowhead on, so you get much deeper penetration and more accurate flight. This arrow now weighs 18 grams. This arrow weighs 19 grams. This one's filled up with silicone. This one's filled up with Stixol glue. This is actually one of the first arrows I ever had with the crossbow. I've repaired it so many times. It's weighing 18 grams. It's filled up with silicone. And then I found some steel bars which were exactly the same size as the inside of the shaft, like literally 0.5 millimeter to spare, so there's no wobble. So you take the knock out, drop the steel bar in, cut it to where you want the knock to go back in, put some fletching glue, Gorilla Glue, whatever you got on there, whack it straight back in there, let it dry, glue the knock back in, and then you've got a 46 gram weight arrow. You've got a bodkin tip on that one. So that's basically a solid steel arrow. They're not great for distance, but in a shorter distance, these pack a real good punch. Right, I'm not sure if I've gone through bloody everything or not yet. So, right, to repair my what do you call it, flights, fletchings, whatever you want to call them, I use this fletching glue. This is called platinum fletching type glue. And then I also use this type of fletching Chinese glue, which is actually much better. It dries faster. This is good, but you need to sit there for ages holding them on till they dry. So unless you've got a device that does it for you, this one's much faster. And then my wax, I use the EK Archery Rail Lube. I have tried a few other ones, but this one's much handier. You get a pack of 6 of them, and they last you ages. I've still got 3 left out of the pack of 6 from last year, and I do wax my bow quite a lot. Let's see if I can get all 7 in the bullseye. Break every bloody arrow. Bullseye. Bullseye. That was a bullseye, and it smashed my bloody arrow. Here's what's left of the knock that just flew my way. Right, I'm not going to hit the bullseye no more then, because 3 arrows in there now that they can keep smashing each other. Well, as you've seen yourself, the thing is so accurate. I know this is close range, but at the end of the day, it's still accurate at long distance as well. It's still a short range crossbow compared to the heavier duty crossbows, but for what this thing is, the distance is more than enough, and the power is more than enough, and the accuracy, depending on the arrow and the arrowhead you use, is more than enough. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a long one. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you all again on the next one. Cheers, guys. Oh, and if there's anything I've missed out and you guys think I should have talked about, just drop me a message and I will get back to you. So enjoy, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye bye for now, guys.